You may have missed your window on getting a good deal on a home here in New Braunfels. You just may have been sitting on the fence just a little too long.
Today has been crazy for answering phone calls and text messages and emails. Like, what is happening? What's going on?
Emails, texts, lenders' phones are blowing up here in New Braunfels. The New Braunfels market has shifted. It actually hit rock bottom last year in 2024 because of what we're seeing right now in 2025. Oh, does that mean we're going to see spiked home prices here again in New Braunfels and more pandemic-type buyer chaos again here? And does it mean that new home builders are going to take away their incentives and discounts right now? All answers coming in today's video. If you are new here to my channel, thank you so much for tuning in today, because every week we're putting out relevant and timely information just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. Oh, Rod, I'm just going to wait this out. I'm going to see how this plays out, and then I'll let you know. If you were thinking about getting a good deal on a home here in New Braunfels, you may have missed your window, and here's why. This was 2024. New Braunfels median home price city limits has gone up $21,000 from last month, but is down almost 7% from this time last year. Home prices in New Braunfels are sinking again to a new post-pandemic low. Price reductions rule the housing market here. Some very alarming updates about the latest housing market report in New Braunfels. So home prices in New Braunfels on average are down with no bottom in sight. Welcome to the jungle, because this is 2025. Median home prices in Hill Country, New Braunfels, and city limits, New Braunfels, are up month over month, almost across the board. Home prices up in New Braunfels, that's something we don't say much the last couple of years on this channel. All these median home price increases in New Braunfels city limits are up year over year. In fact, the median home prices in city and Hill Country are up almost across the board year over year. This is a trend, and it could be a very concerning one. This is not a one-off here. For the first time in a long time, New Braunfels median home prices in city and Hill Country are on the rise consistently. And that's why the New Braunfels housing market hit bottom last year, because every month this year, we've been seeing median home prices in New Braunfels increase year over year, and that is the true measure. This is for 78130 city limits in New Braunfels. And by the way, that zip code is the second most moved to zip code in all of America. This is for new construction and existing homes, and this month is no different. More median home price increases year over year with new construction, existing homes, and the combined market. Time to panic? Not quite yet. Mortgage rates are still in the sixes, which means that homes here in New Braunfels are not flying off the shelves like they were in 2020, 2021, and parts of 2022. That also means that new construction home builders here in New Braunfels continue to offer those record incentives and discounts to entice you. They're not taking away those incentives yet.
We're still way early in this Federal Reserve cutting situation, give or say. 25 basis points is not going to do anything
Right.
to the new construction market. Big thing is, we're still covering closing costs out here. We're still providing fixed rates, in the fours. Actually, right now we have a 3.99 fixed rate with Syntex and Pulte Homes. Still going to be the great incentives for the time being.
And these new build incentives and discounts have really saved the New Braunfels housing market for buyers the last 3 years, because builders can buy down their mortgage rate, they can give them money for closing costs, and in many cases, throw in some appliances as well. And this is why new home builds in New Braunfels have dominated the market, dominated over existing home sales. So there's still this window for you to crawl in and get a pretty good deal on a home here in New Braunfels, but how long will that window stay open? The Fed cut rates for the first time this year. Now, cutting the interest rate is not the same as cutting your mortgage rate. Interest rates are bank to bank. Mortgages tend to follow bonds, inflation, investor demand, which is why we started seeing mortgage rates declining weeks before the Fed rate cut in September. And that's why we're starting to see this uptick in activity in New Braunfels.
I've had my best months the last 2 months.
Today has been crazy for answering phone calls and text messages and emails. Like, what is happening? What's going on?
So you've been busy the last couple months.
Yeah.
And is it mostly first-time buyers, or is it a mix of buyers?
I think it's a mixed bag. I have a lot, my database, turning over. So there's a lot of folks, the average person stays in their home, 3 to 5 years. So I've got folks, kind of a mixed bag, people that are selling and moving. And then I've got a pretty good chunk of first-time home buyers.
So activity is picking up here in New Braunfels, and it has less to do with all the emotion of the news of the Federal Reserve rate cut and more to do with buyers just getting comfortable.
I think coming off of those 2s and 3s, I think people are just now getting comfortable with the fact that, 6 isn't bad. 6.5 isn't bad. 7 isn't bad. Like, when you're looking at the last 20 years of where rates have been. So yeah. I do think it's just a shift change of their mindset.
So buyers right now are just settling into the 6s, and who knows, those rates could go lower. The Federal Reserve is projecting 2 more rate cuts in 2025, which would put us in territory we haven't been in a while.
My prediction is high 5s. I think we're due for it to kind of level out. And I think leveling out, and what I mean by leveling out is kind of, where we're at now. I think even high 5s will put us in a better position, and where people are feeling like, okay, things are kind of leveling out. We haven't had a moment over the last couple of years since COVID and since the, craziness where it's just kind of leveled out and been like, okay, this is just what it's going to be for now. That's just my thoughts based on how the market's been the last several years.
So this is where we're at in the New Braunfels housing market right now. If you're a seller, you want to sell right now, rates in the 6s and even high 5s sound good, but it may not be enough for you to make a move because you may have a sub-4 or sub-3 mortgage rate right now, unless you have a lot of equity in your house. And for many of you, and we've visited and spoken with many of you, unfortunately you bought during the height of the market here in New Braunfels and now have to sell when the last 2 or 3 years have been a declining market. So you have little to no equity, which means you have to bring a check to the closing table. If you're buying, well, it's still good to be you. You have plenty to choose from because inventory in New Braunfels is still up in city limits and hill country. More existing home sellers, though, are offering concessions to buyers trying to compete with those new build incentives. So it's still a buyer's market here in New Braunfels until further notice. What are your plans? Are you moving here? Are you selling here? Or you just gotta wait to see how low these mortgage rates go? Let me know in the comment section below. And whether you choose to buy or sell, of course, I can help you with either one of those. I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, thank you so much for coming to and watching our videos every week, and we'll see you on the next one.